Join me in the pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Marcy. Could I have a roll call?
Sure, Brian?
Here.
Lindsay? Here. Justin?
Here.
John? Here. Jeff?
Here. Thank you. I will need a motion to approve the agenda. Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second. Brian, aye.
Lexi, aye.
Justin, aye.
John, aye.
Jeff, aye.
Carries. Open up for citizen comment at this time for anything concerning the agenda. Marcy, do we have anyone online?
No, we do not. Okay.
Go ahead and close the citizen comment then at this time. We want to needing to look at the consent agenda. Any questions before we get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. Brian, aye.
Lexi, aye.
Justin, aye.
John, aye.
Jeff, aye.
Motion carries. The Parks and Recreation, Stacy, you are up.
Yeah, do you guys have any questions on anything? I do have 2 additions, but if you guys have any questions on anything there first.
You're renting out or whatever for these baseball and basketball, volleyball clinics. Do you just charge a rental fee or do you?
I guess it specifically depends on what you're talking. So when it's tournaments, it's a daily fee. When it's clinics, I charge an hourly per court fee. We're trying to do, obviously we try to do it just on the backcourt. We do have a lot of rentals after we're closed, to try to not take up gym space from people. So we're doing some like Sunday afternoons and that kind of stuff when we're closed. That's per hour per court. So $40 an hour per court for however long they're in here plus staff time, reimbursing us for staff as well. And the additional for staff.
Plus staff.
So 100%, yeah, no, we recoup that as well.
How many we have in the T-ball league? Roughly.
We have 8 teams,
Okay,
around 10, so around 80.
nice.
I think nothing actually says, we might have 79. Update this, but yes, I think 79. No other questions? I have 2 other things. I don't know if you guys heard, we had a little excitement down at the ball fields last night. One of our light poles, our transformers essentially blew up, caught fire. So we have a box that is done, so.
Post.
So yeah, so I had.
Started 4th of July a little early.
We did. Apparently it scared everyone there, it was that loud. But yeah, so Beekler came today, they're the ones that do all that high and whatnot, so they're the ones that came out to take a look at it, told me that it's not good. So we did put it to our insurance company. I don't know whether or not they're gonna accept it or.
What caused it?
So they just said that the transformer blew and caused a fire. So as far as what caused it, they couldn't tell me that it wasn't like a wire short or like like it definitely wasn't a lightning strike. It wasn't storming. It wasn't anything like that. So other than saying it just, I don't know. I don't have a better answer than they said that.
We believe it's the original from 2007.
Correct. So, yeah, so we will see. But he recommended getting a whole new panel. They were able to rewire it. So the pole that it happened on, there's 2 circuit boxes essentially. One is for half the lights, one is for the other half of the lights. So he was able to rewire and get half the fixture working. So I think I still have to talk to WD, that they'll be fine to play. I mean, it's gonna be a little darker in left field is where it is. But I think I'll have to check, just with him to verify, but I think they'll be okay to keep playing, but we're gonna try to get it fixed as soon as possible. It's just gonna depend how long it takes to get the parts in. So,
Does that make sense to have someone and do preemptive,
maintenance.
take a look around?
Well, so that was a weird thing. So Beekler was out last year and did a ton of work on all of those things, and they did. And so I don't know what preventative, I can definitely talk to them, and see like type of preventative, whatever, if you're talking about replacements and stuff, I don't know. I think the transformers are not cheap. Talking a lot of them. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely talk to them and see what their recommendations are. It's not something that happens very often, like these guys were surprised it happened, so it's not like this is gonna happen when it hits 20 years or 25 years, like that wasn't what this was, like it was a freak thing, so I don't know the answer to that question, but I'll talk to him and find out. So. And then number 2 was NICC hired a new AD. So Gary McAndrew came and introduced us today. So I got to talk to him for a little bit. Obviously, we just talked basics of the basics right now, but further add again, and we'll see what happens and go from there. But super nice guy. I think
He's
he'll
on the
be-
ground.
He is on the ground. He is on the ground. So he is here. He is, I think, just getting his feet wet. He definitely knows he's got a uphill climb. So it'll be interesting to see kind of. I knew you were going to ask me that.
Always with the tough questions with you.
Don't remember.
What's his
Running,
degree?
yeah. I'll go back to him. So.
Anything else for Stacy? Thank you very much. Chief, you are up.
You guys have my report. One of this we talked about at the last work session, not the one we just had, but the prior. A lot of this is old. But there's a couple new things in here, so you can answer any questions.
Apparently you cannot top a burned out transformer.
And I'm happy about that.
Yeah, we're happy about that.
Did a bunch of stuff. It's been busy,
They came to.
so. What's that?
I said you came to. They were.
That's right.
Any questions for the chief? Thanks, chief. Dean is on vacation. Anyone have any questions of his report? And we can relay that to him and he can get back with us later. I guess I'll bring something up that I think is worth talking about for us is, my understanding is Robbie is spending about 25 hours a week in it, taking care of the compost site, whether he's grinding or burning or whatever. Just I know
Hauling.
that, what's that?
Grinding, burning, or hauling.
Yeah, or hauling. So I guess the thought is we've been discussing, you know, who uses it, who should be using it. And again, we've got an employee who we're paying 25 hours a week, not doing anything else, but taking care of that. That seems like a lot of time to me to maintain something that's pretty for the citizens. It's very, you know, passive, just dump off and go. But I don't know, I didn't think that we were taking that much time to service it. So I guess it's something for future discussion. Do we want to keep doing that? Do we want to have it? I know we've had discussions again, about people who are coming in from out of town, and so we're spending money having our people who should be doing other things, in my opinion, spending time, taking care of that waste. We can't even say it's all from just people from Peosta.
Do you know if that's a consistent amount of work effort as prior years, or is it growing?
It's getting more busier. It's just because more people are dumping because there's no other sites. There's one in Farley, but they're dumping on their old lagoon site. And the only other site that is commissioned, so to speak, is Dubuque.
Right, the actual.
Oh, and again, there's chances of them dumping here.
Just so you guys know, we did put trail cams up.
Yep.
Over there. We're looking at video and making sure people are doing what they're supposed to. We have,
called a few people, right?
Yes.
Say, hey,
Yep.
sorry.
I did too.
How many hours are we reviewing video? I'm just, that
I
again,
guess I can't answer that,
I'm just,
snapshot.
I mean, so
Samples.
it's a process because we take the video, we plug it in the computer, we look at the videos to see who's doing it, and then we look at the license plates, you know, to see whose they are, to make sure they're from town or from, you know, paying tax citizens. And if they're not, then we have to go talk to them, via phone calls and or go to their house, whether if they're in Epworth, Farley, wherever they're from. And then at that point, we talk to them or issue citations at that point. You know?
Yeah, and my point again being is here we are spending more labor and things that you and your team can be doing that are better served than just watching video, trying to catch somebody dumping at the compost site.
How many people have you had to contact this spring?
I don't know.
50?
5 to 10, I'm guessing so far. I mean, but that was the first set of videos that we were just starting, you know, we just put those cameras up. So we had one set dumped first. Now we're waiting for the guys to get up there, Dean's guys to get up there, give us the next set and see who was there. I think the biggest problem was, you know, where the old site used to be, people were still dumping at that old site. Now, I think with a little bit of education, it's getting better, but I guess I can't answer that 100%, but I do know there has been occurrences that people are still dumping at that old site. And, you know, it's education, getting the word out to people, but it's also, people should know when they see a sign that says, don't close, you know.
Did we
there's your
dismantle that site?
It's up there. I mean.
Blocks are still there, so it
blocks
still looks like it's a dump
Correct.
site.
But there's signs up there that says, yeah, that says do not dump.
It's hard to read
down.
Yeah.
But it's easily accessible, and that's the problem. We don't have something up there that prohibits them from coming on.
Correct. And I think that's the biggest concern right now is people are still, even if the signs are there, people are still dumping in front of it. You know, like they're not using their head of let's go to the other site, or they don't know where the other site is.
Right, there's no signage, and we've got a department head meeting tomorrow, so we're gonna address that when Dean comes back to work.
Okay.
I do want to add that when I did talk to Dean about, you know, we just put all this money into the new compost site, and I said, start thinking about ideas. He goes, I've got a list of them for other uses for that site. So it's not going to be for nothing, putting 30,000 plus into it and not getting some use out of it, if the council decides to go that route.
We can, once we get through like this season, I think we can probably go back and give you some reports too. I mean, it's gonna be somewhat dependent on more in the spring when people are mowing more, trimming and doing things versus July when nobody's mowing, you're probably not having as much dumped. And then in the fall, you're gonna have more dumped. So we can go back and, you know, track and see how much labor we paid and what the expenses were for taking stuff to the dump and getting rid of it and stuff like that.
Well, it's going to increase to July 1 because Thunder Ridge Estates is going to be right there. So therefore, if the 25 hours is more than likely going to increase.
Right.
Okay. That's enough for that tonight. We'll have that discussion another time. Engineering.
Steve's our newest employee.
Yeah. So I mean, did he just start today?
He did.
And he's on vacation tomorrow?
He is.
I don't know how you swing that. Wait a minute.
Well, how do you know?
It's all about value.
That's true.
Yeah, but if you call me, I'll still answer the phone tomorrow, so I'm still working as much as any other day. Couple things, I know that Annette had requested me to come out here and talk about this drainage issue back there, but I also prepared I think you shared my report with them too, with a kind of an update on where we're at with all the projects, and there's a lot of them. But I think the main thing we wanted to talk about was the drainage issue in the northwest side of town. I went out there last Friday, it was really windy. And it's relevant because there was also a complaint of sewage smell out there. I could smell nothing. I mean, it's obviously subjective, but I can smell wastewater. I've done it for 30 years. So I don't know that there was an issue out there, but they contend that there still is. There is a wastewater, a sanitary manhole there. Justin noted, it's got a bolt down lid on it. I really was paid attention to that area. I didn't smell anything either. So the way the sanitary lays out there, I think if there was a leak, there'd be somebody complaining about it being in their basement before it got out onto the ditch, quite honestly, how the elevations are. So, but again, it's subjective, so I don't want to be dismissive. So I walked up and down out there. I asked permission from a couple landowners to be able to get on their land, and everyone was very respectful and professional, and we had some nice conversations. I did speak with the woman at 861 Riley, who I think had submitted conversation with her. She said she was willing to share more videos, and if we need it, we'll get it. But I think what I observed out there, what I put in the report, is that you have a situation where the back lot lines were intended to be the drainage swale for that wing of the subdivision. Not uncommon. You probably have heard about some of the issues in Asbury from the same layout. I didn't see any property damage as far as it relates to water getting to anybody's lower level. They're all the downstream. If there was any, that'd be where it was, and there was nothing there. This woman has a couple complaints. One is that her backyard never dries out, and it probably doesn't. It's really, really flat, if not negative. There's a place out there, as you can see from the photos. And farther up the line, there's utility boxes right where the drainage should be. Again, that happens a lot. So what I would tell you I observed out there was that we know that we had about a 250-year rain event that day. That's a lot of water. It's a lot of water that's going to come down there. It's not designed for that. You guys have heard me many, many times say storm sewers are the one thing we designed to fail. It's just how often do you want them to fail? And we can't size it big enough to contain every storm that's going to happen. And you don't want to. There's a balance between what it costs and what's about being reasonable, but you do want to protect from property damage. So in that regard, I think it worked. The water drained down the ditch, didn't get in anybody's houses. It's at the lower level. It's not built the way it was in the plans. So Annette and I went through the old plans, and there's supposed to be a more defined ditch at the bottom there, much like you can see when I'm looking up the ditch. You can see a defined channel. On the downside, there's not. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you who did it. I can tell you what the plans were supposed to be. And so there's a lot of people back there at different times. You have the contractor that built the subdivision. You've got the individual homeowner or the builders that build those lots. You got individual homeowners doing things. It could be any of those. It could be the utilities that came down through there that did some things. It's very difficult to look backwards and try to point your finger and say, this is the problem. It could be any and everything. I did do a little bit of, because I was very intrigued by this little work over the weekend, and people were saying, hey, this is the city's water, it's the city's problem. And every homeowner out there has buried downspouts that discharge into this ditch, except the two people at the bottom. Theirs are buried, but they go directly to the creek. So they're not contributing necessarily to the runoff there. So roughly 33% of the runoff that goes down that ditch it comes off your street. 67% roughly comes off individual homeowners. So, but it's rain, it's natural, it happens, right? Where does that runoff go? So it's very difficult. The solution, there's a lot of solutions. The question is who wants to pay for it? But, I think at the very root, it's not built the way it was designed. So, and it's not unreasonable to believe that if it was built the way it was designed, if it was out there the way it was designed, it'd get wet, but it would dry out. It would have enough slope on it, enough fall. It's supposed to have 4%. The plans say 4%, and it would drain away, and it would dry out. Right now,
You're saying it's almost negative.
Yeah, you go out there right now, it's fairly imperceptible as to what's going on, but you can almost view it as just trapping water. Yeah.
Do the people's property lines go all the way through that?
They basically
At the middle?
At the middle, yeah.
Okay.
So everybody shares in the misery. So, there isn't a great solution. I mean, there's a solution. Whose responsibility for solving is the question. And there isn't a great answer for that, because it's going to be very difficult to say that this person, that person, or somebody else did something.
Or point it toward the city as doing something.
I got a couple of questions. So is there a way we can do a test to know if there is any sewage?
Yeah.
Sewer related, or one homeowner the email we just saw today suggested that there's septic systems and things upstream, and so.
Very well could be. I mean, so on the lot line directly north of 861 Riley, there's a photo in there. You can see where there's water trapped. Have Dean, the wastewater staff, go out there, grab a sample and test it like they would their own wastewater. But you have to differentiate between, they'll have to make sure they differentiate between animal waste that's spread on cornfields and human waste. So there's different bacteria there, but you can absolutely test that.
So the 3 properties north, I'm sorry.
Please.
So this is the property.
Yeah.
So look, these 3,
To the north?
Yeah.
As far as what do you?
testing.
No, I would just go out there where it's pooling and just grab a sample. I wouldn't go to any individual homeowner because then you're pointing the finger. I think what you want to do is know whether there's wastewater there or not.
Yeah.
And I think, Brian, you're asking, let's get a test and say that it is.
Validate that it should or shouldn't be a concern. That's
Yeah.
what I'm.
But I suspect the water's still standing out there. I suspect you can still go grab a sample.
So you said that there are septic systems up there north of there?
They're claiming that there are to the north. None of this development is. I don't know where that would be.
Not within the city, is what they're
It's
saying.
not within the city.
Cornfield north of that yet.
Right, and then maybe there's a house up there on Old Highway 20 that maybe would have something, but off the top of my head.
That he's talked about.
There's a fertilizer plant.
Right,
It's on the old highway road.
yeah. So that should drain to the north.
There's a house, there's a farm right there to the west
Yeah.
of it.
And regardless, even if
It's not
there is, as long as their system is compliant, it has to discharge someplace, right? It's probably far enough away that it would percolate. I mean, Justin, you guys do perk tests all the time out there. I would highly doubt that it would make its way down.
Talking about the agriculture.
Yeah.
It's so hilly through there.
There's a lot of ground through there.
And you're 33%, 66%. That's an analysis based on the
Impervious area there of what drains down through there. So I looked at the square footage of driveways and roofs of each individual home versus the square footage of the road that drains to that storm sewer.
You said it's 33.
33, it's roughly a third, 2/3. I mean,
33 to the street.
city, yeah, 33 city, street water, and then 67-ish is individual homes. And very much an inexact science, I'm going off of Google Earth, but I wanted a magnitude. If we wanted to dial down, we could drill down with a little bit more precision. But
That gives us a picture.
So regardless of whose fix it is, the fix options are to to regrade it to a tighter ditch or to
Yeah.
put in a drain toward the bottom, that
Yeah.
goes straight into the.
Off the top of my head, there's 2 options. I mean, they're wanting it to be a pipe that runs down their back for the stuff that comes off the road.
Permeable
Which-
pipe or something.
Okay, it takes 33% of the water, but the other 67 doesn't make its way in there. I don't love the option, but it's an option because there will be a rain event, probably several of them, that it still runs down that back lot line. Maybe not, there's still that same volume of water that wants to go down.
Right.
Second alternative, probably the cheapest one, would be put it back the way it was designed. I mean, it's not.
Regrade it to a tighter
Regrade it,
ditch.
yeah. And then if it don't work, then you do something else. I mean, that's what the plan was. Third option, which is maybe kind of threading the needle, is you put some drain tile with some little area inlets in there, and if anybody's a golfer, you're talking about, it'll drain it away. There's still gonna be that same volume of water. If we have a 250-year storm, it's still gonna look like
We
that.
could put in drain tile and
Yeah,
connect it
but
to
it will at least drain it away. You won't have this residual swampiness that's there in
I
theory.
think that's the biggest problem, right?
Yeah.
Wet,
This
Even-
spring never got dry.
right. What has been happening?
Yeah, and I feel for them. I mean, it's wet, and they may or may not be the one that made it that way, but it's wet.
It still is.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Steve?
Are we going to, or have we reached back out to them and said anything, or should we reach back out to them?
I have
They got
not,
Steve's report, right?
yeah,
The homeowners got your report.
Yes,
We mailed that to
Just-
everybody.
I just emailed it to her. This other gentleman that kind of interjected, that just came in today.
Okay, so only one property owner got.
Right, but
kind of
she
the
shared that
formal
report
process.
with him.
Okay.
So they're very aware, and I'm sure they've all shared.
Sure,
it
they're all
with the other
talking, yeah.
homeowners there.
and I tried to be very factual. I mean, it was just kind of a statement of facts and my observations that day. And
For
so-
sure.
So what are our next steps?
At this point, nothing, unless I wouldn't say anything at this point. There's nothing that we can do until they want something fixed. And then you have to decide, is it gonna be what Steve just explained? Option 1, option 2, or option 3?
Obviously, they want something fixed.
Yeah, obviously people want something fixed.
Do we, I'm just spitballing, do we just,
It's our responsibility to fix it.
That's the question.
that's the question.
That's the $1 million question.
Then if you do that there,
You're doing it everywhere.
Doing it
then
everywhere.
when the next house has a problem, what are you doing for them? Well, you did it over there, you did it over there.
There's lots of drainage through when our houses in our neighborhoods that back up to each other.
I say we move forward with the testing for right now,
Okay.
just to rule out the sewage.
I'd like to rule out the sewage.
Correct, yeah. And then I think that these rain events are happening more frequently, like every 10 years, we seem to get a sizable one like this. And obviously, when this happens, then it becomes an issue. It's just like snow. So again, I think we just test for the sewage and
I think
hope and
this,
pray it dries up
I
for
think this year's a little
while.
unique too, because we had the 250-year rain event at the end of an already very rainy season. So the ground's not taking any more water.
Right, so anything that we have moving forward, it's not going to do it any justice at this point.
You said he was complaining last year.
Yeah, this isn't the first time he's brought this up. Yeah.
Was it damp like that all year though for him last year? Cause I mean, that was super dry.
This is the first time I've heard about it.
He was able to still mow most of the time last year. There were a couple times where he wasn't mowing back there, but it wasn't anything like now.
Yeah, like I said, I feel for them. There's an issue, maybe their own doing or not. It probably not, but
What's a ballpark cost on regrading that? Just, I have no idea, so I'm asking.
Or can we estimate it?
probably $10,000 by the time you grade it, cut it in, seed it, make sure the seed establishes itself and, probably less, but I mean, if you're.
Just if there was a cost with,
Yeah.
what you're looking at, or
Magnitude.
us or them.
Yeah, and I'll reiterate that, they were trying to say that it was a bad design or out of compliance. It's a typical design. There's nothing wrong with the design. You're to protect people's property. This is a big rain event that their property, their homes didn't get inundated with floods. And so it worked. It might not be how they want it to work.
Well, it doesn't help that it's not graded properly.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. And 4% is a nice slope. If that's got that proper grade on it, it'll discharge most of that water.
Is it just that lot or is the neighboring lots, where's that ditch disappear at?
Yeah.
Where is it supposed to disappear or where does it disappear?
Where does it disappear?
Behind this home.
So
I mean, if you look at
that property.
the report that I sent you guys, I don't know if you've got that, it had different photos in it, but you can see I'm standing in the same position where the width of the water is. And
Yeah.
So-
Email you sent.
well, this is her video. So this video is from the same position. So you can see where it's pretty defined. It's doing what it's doing, and then it's
It's a lake. It's in the bottom.
so it disappears behind.
Flat lake.
Yep.
Salt Lake. It's Salt Lake. If it was salty. Just a,
Sorry, John.
sharks. Yeah, Death Valley, it's a bowl.
So the video tells the story of what's happening and where what it should look like all the way down to
And
the
make sure
street.
it's a pond.
I was over at Round Two today and there were some other neighbors from other parts of the neighborhood and they were showing videos. So I mean, everybody went out to film the.
Well, you guys had somebody kayaking down the street. I saw that
Yeah.
on Facebook or
Somebody
something
was on
too.
the
So
street.
Piazza?
Yes.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, one of these streets.
So anyhow, let's solve the wastewater problem. If there is that, that's a
Let's figure
serious
out if
problem.
there is, yeah.
And then if we could get that off the table, then we can talk about options on this.
Thank
All
you.
right?
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you, Steve.
Yep, thank you guys. Have a good night.
You too.
Have a good vacation.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
Have fun in Vegas.
Call me if you need me. I'm working. I will answer your phone.
I do have one question, sorry. I can't let him leave. I have one question.
It was right there.
You almost got out. On your actual report, the traffic study,
Yeah.
you're proposing Peosta Street, Highway 20 to Birds Road. Is there a reason we wouldn't measure the intersection all the way up at Old Highway 20?
We could. I mean, I'm just trying to be responsible where would you get the most bang for your buck? I mean, we can always add to it also. I mean, you build that model and then you can build off it. And we could go up there. I mean, that sees enough traffic.
Yeah, it was more of a curiosity, and I get it, that's a less traffic interchange, but if we were collecting data about all the entry points to the city, I know it's not a problem yet, but when we start developing the properties up there, it would be good to know.
Yeah.
As we've talked about other, east-west
Sure.
arterials.
Is that
going
something you'd like
across.
him to do?
I don't know if now's the
Now's
right time,
the
or we have
time
to
to-
do it in 8 years when we do a study again or something, I don't know.
You can do it. It probably doesn't add a lot of work.
What do we do to do the study? We put things on the street that
You
people
either,
drive across?
there's that, you can put cameras, you can actually stick interns out there with little counters. That's always. And we've done
Volunteers.
that, and a combination of all of them, but that's essentially what you do.
So much, I would imagine most of our workforce comes into Peosta off the main highway.
Yeah.
And in,
Well,
but I don't- what do you guys think? Should we count it?
Quite a few than you think, because this is so backed up.
Then I'd say let's count it, so we know what we're doing now.
What a bit of traffic comes off in the north, and comes south in the.
I'd vote
It's
count.
busier than you think.
Maybe last now the county dropped the speed limit in Centralia,
I know.
45 bucks an hour.
I'm a creature of habit. I'm
Oh,
45 to 50.
awful.
So it sounds like have him go ahead and add it.
You guys are.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a minimal additional
All right,
cost.
let's know what we're dealing with.
Then we have it.
Sounds good.
Great, thanks.
I'm running now.
Thank you.
Can you go now, Ryan?
He can go now. That was my last question.
Sorry. All right. Mayor's report, participated in the mayor's breakfast again last Friday. Talked a lot about, again, trails and what we're doing over on Hot Spring. That the trail's going into the park. I shared the water tower project, that's gonna be happening, and that we, able to get some grant money, through, Henson's office, to help with that. And just kind of talk about what we're doing moving forward, and I don't know if anybody cared, but.
They were more curious about the goat.
Yeah, the goats, we talked about the goats, and then, cause the goats got washed away in the 250-year.
One of them did, yeah.
Two of them.
One came
Oh,
back.
One came back.
made its way back.
Yeah,
but
one came
still
back.
On the loose.
Yeah, I was approached after the meeting about finding out whether the other
That's
goat
the
went.
23rd, I think. That's not going important stuff.
Yeah.
Did a nice job, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Didn't have any, big moments like where I said that we're bringing the airport or air service back to the airport without anything to back it up. Or that we're getting out of the red, like you did a round of applause, but that's
I
okay.
clapped for you.
Yes, you did. She did alone. A room of 125 people. And Annette did clap, so.
Yeah.
Last thing is, we've talked a little bit about committees. We're gonna change things up July 1st. Just I'll run through it quick. Jeff on Streets, Water, Sewer and HR Committee. Brian on Parks, Trails, Sidewalks and HR Committee. John, Streets, Water, Sewer and Public Safety. Justin, Economic Development, Finance and Public Safety. And Lexi on Economic Development, Finance and Parks, Trails and Sidewalks. Any questions? All right, thank you. We will move on to opening a public hearing for Cox Springs Road multi-use trail. And he asked, anyone online? So I am going to close the public hearing for Cox Springs Road multi-use trail.
Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Open bids next Thursday, 1:30 at City Hall. Bring the bids back to council in 2 weeks. We've heard from a handful of contractors inquiring about the project.
Great.
So there are guys looking at it.
Awesome. Questions for Jake, as long as he's
So we had a
here?
conversation with landowner in the corner.
Mary called.
I talked to Dean, he's been out there 2 or 3 times and never caught anybody.
Right.
Not answering the door or not there. And then I've not heard since he's been on vacation, so.
Is he back tomorrow?
He is. I can follow up with him.
Yeah, why don't you see what the plan is there? I mean, if we need to kind of find a different way, because we definitely
Yeah.
I think we definitely need to have that conversation sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Don't wanna show up with flags over there and have her go, what?
Yeah. Macocata Valley has not responded. I emailed them. I think at the end of May it was. And then followed up and made sure they got the email. He said, yeah, and they had somebody come look at it, but they've not responded. And then I followed up with him again today. Just about moving the one pole and then getting that guy wire out of the way, so. Really, those are the two, Macocata Valley and that easement from DeKalb is probably really the only two.
Nice.
Two things hanging out there, so.
Any other questions?
Okay,
Thanks very much.
thanks, everyone.
Thank you, thank you.
Next, we have resolution approving pay app for turn lane project. PM 7.
I went over this with B&K and I'm comfortable with recommending that we approve.
We'll be getting the asphalt tomorrow.
Nice.
It's been a long time, so I'm excited. I don't know if you guys are, but we are.
Dirt, mud and gravel, time for
It's supposed
some
to
real
rain.
pavement.
Don't even say.
Too nice.
Well, wasn't supposed to rain today.
Like it did.
It did.
Sprinkled. Sprinkled.
We can have sprinkle.
I'll entertain a motion to approve pay up estimate 7.
I'll make a motion that we approve pay estimate number 7 for the Peosta Street and Birds Road turn lane project.
Second.
Is that John?
Yes.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
Jeff, I.
Carries. Next up is resolution approving change order number 5 for turn lane project.
I wish they all came in this low. This was just additional labor to move, and equipment to move that and dispose of the, mats.
Were they not supposed to move them to start with?
Were they not supposed to move them?
Wasn't that part of the original
Original
contract?
I guess they needed excess help to move them. I guess there was more than what they anticipated.
776. See what was the original.
I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 5.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. Next up, we have resolution regarding prior resolutions approving easement agreement. Each from 5/28.
It's from Doug. This is a resolution that was done quite a while ago with Slavic when he came and approached the city asking for these easements to be in place, and one of the homeowners, developers, they're refusing to sign it. So this is basically put in place so that if we need to go in there, we need to make repairs and or replacements we can without their permission.
And this is coming from our attorney, so he doesn't think we have a legal exposure. We have a legal right to do this
Yes, we
as an
do.
emergency provision?
Mhm.
Okay.
The homeowners refusing to sign?
The developer, Pristine. It could be. I don't know what the relationship is. I just know that they're refusing to sign.
We tried to have a mutual agreeable easement, and they won't sign it.
Right.
So
The other
now we're
homeowner did. We just can't get them to sign.
No.
Okay.
Is this for that pipeline, the hot guy?
Yeah, it's just, right, just for the gas line.
Whatever.
And if we had to go in there and do something, we'd have to put it back the way it was.
Correct, yeah, we would.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well. Right, as long as he doesn't think we're exposed.
Need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve to a resolution regarding prior resolutions, approving easements, agreements.
I'll second it.
Brian, I.
Next guy.
Post and I.
John, I,
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. Resolution approving ECIA assistance of their staff for inspections within the city limits of Peosta, 7/1/24 through 6/30, says 27.
Yes.
Okay.
3-year contract, 3% increase each year. The staff hourly rates are before you. And that does not include their mileage.
I guess my two questions are, this is kind of time and materials, right? So if they do the work, we pay them.
Correct,
It's not a flat rate contract.
right.
And if we end up taking on some of the work at some point, we can either terminate it or just not use them.
Right, 30 days
'Cause if
writing.
they're not doing it.
It's easy enough.
Just wanted to make sure I read it that way.
Yes.
there's no minimums.
No. And if we do end up going a different route, we can use them as a backup. So it'd just be another
Yeah.
contract in place.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for ECIA assistance by their staff for inspections within the city of Peosta.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Next guy.
Justin, I.
John, I,
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. Resolution setting salaries, wages for appointed officers and employees of the city of Piasta for fiscal year 25.
We did discuss this at the work session. This takes care of the Department of Labor new law that goes into effect July 1. With giving everybody across the board a 4% that is a full-time employee.
The original assumption we had in the budget was 3, right? And we're
That is
funding this
correct.
basically because we've done better on the benefit side.
Correct.
Probably get us out of the hot water, giving certain people,
Oh, I wouldn't say hot water. I
well,
just
but
say,
yeah, of getting certain people more of a raise.
right, because of the Department
Because
of
of the
Labor
Department of
law
Labor
that goes into effect for exempt employees.
I think because we can afford it this year, it's very reasonable to do this. We got good staff. We know how the markets for labor have changed. We want to keep the good staff we have too. So it's nice that we have a funding source.
We're open to a much larger increase. I just want to throw that out.
I'm gonna approve.
Just
what's in
asking
front
for
of me.
some friends.
I'm more than willing to donate all my wages as the mayor.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
You guys all get
My
a.
lunch on
Have like a
Fridays,
pizza
right?
party.
Pizza party on Friday.
Pizza party.
Once a year.
I'll buy 5 pizzas, you guys buy the rest.
Gremlins at Christmas.
Oh,
Striking a hard bargain.
Yeah,
No, I agree, it's cheaper to keep and maintain
It is.
Yeah,
good employees than it is to
absolutely.
rehire and train, so.
It's great that we have the ability to do that this year without increasing the budget.
well, it's much appreciated. Thank you.
I'll make the motion to approve the resolution setting salary wages for appointed offices to the city of Piasta.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Next guy.
Justin, I.
John, I,
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. Next up, resolution setting wages for the part-time season and temporary employees, city of Piasta fiscal year 25.
My only question on this one is what are they changing from? I can see the data about
Nothing-
what we're recommending
nothing
they go
changes this
to.
time.
Nothing changes?
No, in past years, we've definitely changed things within it, but this set resolution is
This
the
is-
same as last fiscal
okay.
years. But I do, I mean, as far as every department is very much different how we do increases. Bartenders, we don't give increases, they just make a flat fee. Same thing with people who come and clean up after weddings, and it's been a flat fee, so whoever comes in first year, 10th year, get the same. Fitness instructors have gotten bigger increases, just try to maintain what we do have. It's a
Yeah.
huge struggle for us. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that one. And then front desk is 0 to 3, except new hires who can get a bigger increase the first few months of work. So it's not like a clear, concise across the board, but everything falls within the set resolution in front of you.
So like if we hire entry level front desk after 90 days, they get a couple
They get
dollar
an
bump
eval.
into that range.
No, it's based off of, based off of an email, yeah, correct.
Okay.
So based on job performance, essentially.
Want a motion?
Yeah, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution setting wages for part-time, seasonal, and temporary employees of the city of Peosta for fiscal year 2025. I'll second. Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
John, I.
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. Next up is resolution approving budgetary transfers fiscal year 24 year end.
Which will be ending here pretty soon, which is hard to believe. But this is usual and customary transfers that we make.
Yeah, so you've already approved them all via the budget, with the amendment, and this is actually you approving and me to allow me to actually do them.
We're making you do your job, Marcy.
Right. So, you know, we need a resolution for
We need a resolution so Marcy can do her job. I'm glad I don't need a resolution to do my job.
And this motion to approve the resolution for budgetary transfers fiscal year 24 year end.
I'll second it.
One question. It's just where it says, no, it's fine, where it says transfer from ARPA, that's swap money?
So it's ARPA money that we received a couple of years ago. It's just sitting in an
Oh,
ARPA
it is.
account.
It is
So,
ARPA.
yeah, it's,
Okay.
yes, it's sitting in basically in an account until we used it. And now we've used it. So it just needs to get transferred to those other
It's
accounts.
gone.
Yeah.
That's good.
We used it for the
She
well
She
two,
gone.
which we're almost unpaid
Okay,
for.
I
And then the
remember
rest.
which one it is now.
We recreated it and we put it towards the roads.
I remember that. Okay.
So now we're just taking it out of that account and putting it into roads and putting it into the well.
We have a motion on the floor.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
John, I.
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. Put up for citizen comment. And the third time, Marcy, anyone online?
Nope.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
John, I.
Jeff, we go on journeys, I like my mind's blanking.
He wants to stay.
The athletic director's name is Nick Weinmeister. Does that sound right?
Nick, yes,
Mike.
yes.
There you go.
It's over.
He's the Wisconsin guy,
What were you predicting?
right?
Yeah, but
Did I get caught? 45.
45.
45.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. I cost you that 3 minutes with my
Right.
extra 4 questions. You should factor that in. By now, you should know to factor in
Let's back up.
5% shots overhead factor.
Right. The delay for.
Shots overhead factor, 5% of the time. Yes.
Fantasy, yes.
Yeah.